What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Yokai Delinquents podcast. I am Sean, bearded Kappa Litton,
And I am Jerry Robo Smith.
and we are here once again to bring the conversation to all you lovelies out there. We have been doing some new things. We just got, as of recording, dropping new episodes, and even did a collab video for one of my pickups. Look
That's
forward.
right. You'll be able to see our mugs.
Those horrible, horrible mugs. But yeah, that's gonna look forward to that. As always, thank you for tuning in, and please like, comment, subscribe, and most of all, share away. Well, Jerry, the people are here to hear us gab. What you want to talk about?
Well, there was some new interesting news that I saw earlier today that kind of spilled over, or earlier yesterday that spilled over today on Twitter that I thought was kind of interesting that I figure I would bring up. So we've kind of had this like weird on again, off again resurgence of DC TV shows, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, one of the things that I believe was just announced, please correct me if I'm wrong, and that is season 3 of Titans, right?
Yes, yeah.
You're watching Titans, right?
I've been watching Titans. I've watched both seasons. I'll be honest, I like it, but my God,
Hmm.
I don't know if I got too much going on in my life as far as what I read, what I watch, what I produce.
Yeah.
God, I can barely remember what happened in season 2. But yes, I have watched
Well,
both. I just don't know. I don't quiz me on what's been happening. Other than I know the news. I think you're getting at, but
right.
we're gonna let you continue on that.
Yeah, yeah. I honestly, this is one that I maybe watched. I've watched a couple of episodes of just because, like, I don't know, the the characters and team like it didn't super interest me at the time that it came out. But honestly, with other stuff that I'm going to talk about, um, I might actually start watching it. Like Steph and I might have to get into it.
Right?
But they just announced for season 3 that Red Hood is going to be in it,
Yeah.
and they released images, and the costume looks legit.
Okay. I've not seen the costume,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
no,
No, it
I'll
looks.
definitely have to look that up. Yeah. In season 2, they brought in Jason Todd, and
Oh,
he's much younger than the actor. No, well, at least he appears. Some actors are actually older than they ever look. But he definitely, you can tell he's the younger than Dick Grayson, you know, who is
hmm,
kind of getting out of the Robin thing and becoming. He did officially become Nightwing. Spoilers, sorry, but and because Jason Todd showed up, like I'm Robin now. You're nobody. You left. So it's like because the whole big factor of Titans is Dick Grayson just left Batman alone. He just like he got
right.
tired of some of Batman's shit and went off to do his own thing. And then he kind of discovered, okay, this is the new one. And I think I vaguely remember them setting up no Red Hood. I think like it was hit. I can't remember again. It's a good show and I recommend. I should probably rewatch them before the season 3 starts
Hmm.
because I still tell people to check it out. But admittedly, I can't tell you right now what exactly happened at the end. But I've enjoyed it.
Right. Yeah, yeah. It's. I mean, in like, I don't know if they were just counting their chickens before they hatch, or whatever. But they have planned some pretty good like shows, and this is like coming from the DC streaming app, but um, and I don't know the details or the politics of it or anything, but now all that stuff seems to be going to HBO Max, which I'm fine with because now I have all the great HBO stuff that I want to watch, and if I want to watch any DC stuff, I can watch that.
Right.
Um, they had Swamp Thing, which was amazing. I don't know if you ever got around to watching it. Sad about the cancellation of that.
Yeah, basically, I watched the first episode. I liked it a lot. Heard it got
Mhm.
canceled. Lost all interest because I knew it was gonna.
Yeah,
I knew it was gonna end on a setup for a season 2 that we knew wasn't getting. That's probably I shouldn't let that stop me because I hear very good things, and I
hmm,
know CW picked it up and
yeah,
re-aired the first season, and they might continue it. But
yeah.
yeah, I never got into Swamp Thing. But yeah, to touch on how all the shows are going to HBO Max, that's
Hmm.
because HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, who owns DC. I believe they're in some partnership, And yeah, I don't think DC Universe app was doing the numbers they wanted. Nothing compared to what HBO is doing. So I think they're doing the smart thing because they're still getting their money for their
Yeah.
cut for all the DC and Warner Brothers stuff on there. So yeah, they're like Harley Quinn season 1 and 2 is now on there, and it's just honestly it's a much better app than DC Universe. I had it for a little while, and I'm glad it's all going over there now.
Yeah, because it just means that we can get so many more shows, right?
Yeah.
And so yeah, Swamp Thing was amazing. They really started bringing in like the dark magic sort of in the for the DC universe. The one that I've been constantly excited about and was a little honest about until I watched the pilot that they had on Titans was Doom Patrol.
Yes. Yeah.
And oh man, it was the show that nobody was expecting to be as good as it.
Oh yeah.
Like they're actually absolutely killing it. Like the entire cast is amazing. Like Diane Guerrero, like with all of her personalities for Jane,
Right.
is just astounding. Bringing Brendan Fraser like back into the spotlight, man. After everything that that dude's been through,
Oh, for
I think
sure.
is just it's been really really great. And
Yeah,
then
that
they
show.
in the first season they had Alan Tudyk and like yeah.
Yeah. No, I was gonna completely agree with you on that show. Uh, I don't. Again, I think we used to say this about the animated movies for DC. That now I'm saying it about the writers for the TV series. They need to put them on the movies because DC is producing great shit, just not in the cinemas. Not as much
Right.
in the cinemas. There's some good ones out there that I have enjoyed, but like yeah, Doom Patrol, like you could tell they wanted to make the Suicide Squad their Guardians of the Galaxy as far as like a team that most people hadn't heard of. It wasn't a very mainstream thing outside of Harley Quinn being a part of it.
Hmm.
That's Doom Patrol. They made Doom Patrol a household name, and no one knew who the fuck Doom Patrol was before that
Right.
show. And sadly, I don't think a lot of people have watched Doom Patrol because, people have said like, "Oh, I heard it's really weird." Like, bro, it's a fucking comic book show. They're all fucking weird. You know what I
Right.
mean? Just check it out. It's totally character driven, well acted, well paced. I mean, they took like I don't know if you ever noticed about Netflix shows. Netflix, not the Marvel necessarily, but some of their original shows. There was a nice little
Hmm.
period of time where they felt the need to put in a song and dance number in a lot of their shows.
Oh, right.
Like it would just pop up, and sometimes it was cute. It worked. It was just kind of a wacky moment. Standout for me was "She's Gotta Have It," where they did Prince's "Raspberry Beret" dance number, and it was fucking amazing. Uh, in the first season of Doom Patrol, I don't know the name of the song, but when uh, oh Lord, I'm gonna go blank. The guy, the Negative Man, or the one that's in
Yeah,
all the
Alan Tudyk.
bandages. No, no, the out. No, no.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Negative Man.
Uh,
Larry Trainer.
yeah, when he got to be himself in the gay club, and they did that
Oh, right.
song, I fucking love that. It was
Yeah,
just so
yeah.
fitting
Matt.
for his character and what he's going through, and like you know what I mean. They fucking nailed it, and
Hmm.
I don't know. I just can't praise Doom Patrol enough. If you haven't watched it because you think it's wacky, it's weird, you don't know about it, get your head out your ass and check out a fantastic fucking show.
It touches on so many issues and everything like that. Like, I mean, and like this season was just as good. They brought in Abigail Shapiro for the Chief's daughter
Yeah.
as Dorothy,
Yes.
and
Yes.
like she had some really great scenes. Especially with Jane and everything.
Yeah.
A lot of their stuff with her and Baby Doll being friends and like what happened with that. Also, like talk about like supporting characters with all that they've had, and a character that I never thought I'd get to see on the screen, Flex Mentallo.
Who
Like
was amazing?
you're talking about a dude, yeah, that has the power to flex and change things. He's
Yeah.
got the man of muscle mystery. Um,
He's like,
just
we need you to alter
so
reality. Hold on, I gotta get the arm up. I gotta get get flexing to change. It's so wacky. It's so fucking out there, but it fits. Like they established early
Mhm.
on This is a wild ride, and I'm not denying that for all those who kind of say that in a negative way, a reason not to watch it. But you're really doing yourself a disservice if that's holding you back. It's kind of like when people say they don't want to start One Piece because they don't like the art. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a whole other rant.
Right. Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
So yes, we are getting a third season. I believe they let's see release time series is renewed for a third season. It doesn't really
Yep.
say when they're going to start filming. I think it's at the beginning of next year.
Right.
So that's exciting. And then also kind of on the DC train, but I guess it was more of a Vertigo title when they released Watchmen. Holy shit! Did
Dude.
like because everybody was like really like shitting on it, and they were just like, oh, they need to just stop messing with this, and it'll never be as good as the source material. Did they knock that one out of the park or what?
Oh, they
Like,
fucking killed it. Not only
yeah.
honoring the original comic book specifically. It was really more of a sequel to the comic than it was the Zack Snyder film, which was a good film, a damn good adaptation of
Oh
the
yeah.
of the comic. But dude, yeah, it was so good, and like the modernization of a lot of the stories and how they worked it into modern politics, which again, yeah, fucking morons online. Oh, they made Watchmen political. Like, you didn't read
Oh my.
Watchmen. Someone didn't read their fucking book they're wanting to bitch about.
What was that? What was that thing? You don't even like Watchmen. You just like watch its like look at its ass as it walks by or something like
Right.
that.
I mean, even oh, I'm going blank on her name, but Lady Knight, the lead in the TV series, when someone was like
Right.
criticizing, like motherfucker, I read the damn book. You clearly haven't. This is in line with what they wanted, and like the
Uh,
writers and stuff of the original one. Uh,
Regina King.
Regina King,
Yep.
thank you.
Yes.
Who was amazing. She fucking killed it.
Yeah.
And just a great show. But like, yeah, she even called out fucking trolls online, who are gonna try and be like, "Oh, y'all don't know Watchmen. This is all politics and you're bringing stuff." Yeah, yeah, Watchmen. Yeah, we didn't take over Vietnam in Nixon's third, fourth term. Yeah, no politics whatsoever in the
Yeah.
original fucking story, right? Oh yeah, but no, that's yeah. Now Watchmen was an excellent comic book show that touched on
Hmm.
modern things, and it's I like this trend a lot better than the CW trend we had going.
Yeah, yeah, it's definitely a thing of they were kind of in this place where it was like CW made a good universe, which I'm going to touch on a thing for that. And I haven't watched anything CW in a while, and
Right.
when it started, I was like every single show I was just consuming
Oh yeah.
because I just loved that they were making that universe. But yeah, it's kind of seemed like they were sort of tiptoeing occasionally on the CW stuff because they didn't really know what they could do and what they could put into the show and stuff without like messing with the rights of certain things.
Right.
But yeah, just like the places they will go in the new DC stuff on HBO has just been phenomenal. And I'm like a fan of all of those crazy, wacky, like obscure ass characters, and we've been getting that. Like Blue Devil was in fucking Swamp Thing.
Right.
We had fucking Beard Hunter uh, and Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
The possibilities for all the characters that they can add to these are just endless. It's really great.
Oh no, absolutely. And again, something I'm pretty sure we talked about on one of our previous episodes, if not somewhere. um, I know I brought up before in my opinion videos that DC really in their cinema wants to do more mature, darker, grittier. They want to be the opposite of Marvel, who, despite what everyone says, they're not all comedy, but it does tend to kind of lean toward a little more lightheartedness. So they want to be dark,
Mm,
and they can only go so far because they're not going to make an R-rated film. Marvel made an R-rated
right.
comic book film. DC wants to be all dark and gritty, but they ain't pulled that trigger yet, have they? Uh, Although no, Birds of Prey, Birds of Prey. I'm sorry, that one was R-rated. But I'm just saying, like they're not going to put Superman and Batman as much as they want to make them dark and gritty. But with TV, especially with HBO, they can go there. They can do Watchmen. They can do, I mean, we could. they could redo Arrow, Flash, all these CW shows and give them the edge they want to give. That could work. I'm not saying like Flash doesn't need to be R rated. Flash doesn't need it, but like I don't know. You could argue you could take Arrow there because
Hmm.
the first couple seasons of Arrow was kind of hitting that. It was a lot grittier, a lot darker. He was killing people before he stopped when he was still the
Yeah,
vigilante.
yeah,
So I could kind of take some of like I believe it was the Longbow Hunters was kind of a more mature storyline they did for Green Arrow. Like
right.
you could kind of take that and go dark with Arrow that way of him having to kill people. You know,
Hmm.
it could work, and I think that's like their shows are working way better than their movies.
Yeah, yeah. They just like seem to kind of get like that people want to see more in a lot of their stuff now, and a lot more obscure. The last thing that I was going to bring up was they just, I mean, they already announced, for Batwoman, that they were taking off. Like Ruby Rose was quitting the show, and they were getting someone new to fill the role of it.
Yes.
Love it or hate it, it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't actually watched the show yet. I think I watched the first episode, and it was decent. I enjoyed it. And I know how the CW stuff goes. So sometimes it could take a little bit for them to get in the costumes,
Yeah.
and just the evolution of everything that CW's done for their DC universe has been, just phenomenal. As far as like their Suicide Squad and all the characters that they did. Um, but so they announced that what's it? Oh man, I'm gonna butcher this name. Uh, Javisha Leslie
Yes.
is going to be playing the new Batwoman,
Yep.
and her character's name is Ryan Wilder, which has not been a Batwoman, right? Like she's not. She's a completely new character. Am I wrong?
She has not existed in the comics until
Okay.
recently.
So
Her character is actually going to debut in a coming up soon issue of Batgirl.
nice. Yeah, so one of the things that they had just released, actually, I mean, I'm seeing this as of today, like from Nerdist, but
Right.
yeah, I don't know
Right.
how. So they have a promo image of her in the costume,
Yep.
and it looks fucking awesome.
And for those who don't
Like,
know, just throwing it out there, the big controversy was also obviously recasting is always tough. Which they're not recasting; they're just putting a new character. The new actress is African American. It is going to be
mhm,
a black woman playing Batwoman, which has never been in the comics to my knowledge. Her character certainly hasn't because they're making they made the announcement recently that her character will debut not necessarily as Batwoman in the comics because Cassandra Cain I believe is still Batwoman,
mhm,
but her character will officially be canon in the DC comic universe. So have that, and of course people are freaking out. But if I'm not mistaken, I think a big part of Ruby Rose's departure was she was really gung ho, and hey, all the credit in the world to her for wanting to do most of her own stunts. Whatever she could
mhm.
legitimately do, she did, and she got hurt, and I think that
Yeah.
shook her a little bit, which I wouldn't blame her, depending on the severity of her injury. That could mess with you, and I can understand. And I don't know. I think that may have been a factor. I'd never been confirmed. It seemed like after you heard about the accident in the middle of filming, then suddenly they're announcing she's leaving the role. You kind of make your own
Mhm.
assumptions. If that is the reason,
Right.
wouldn't blame her. If there's other ones, well, that's her business, not mine. But no,
Right.
I've seen the actress. I haven't seen that picture of her in full costume, but no, I've seen little bits here and there. And I mean, I watched a few episodes when my wife was when Vanetta was watching it. It seemed
Mhm.
okay. But again, I fell out of CW way before you did because I was watching a lot of it with you. And I mean,
Yeah.
if you like CW, there's no reason you shouldn't have liked what was going on in Batwoman. But again, it didn't hold my interest. But I didn't hate watching it when I was just in the same room while she was watching it.
Mhm. Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely a welcome change. I, like I said, I think she looks awesome. I'm sure she'll do stellar in the role. Like, it's always interesting whenever you're gonna change up a character, and change the role stuff like that.
Right.
Um, but I think CW has been a done a pretty good job. I don't know that they've actually had something where they've had to change like a an actor or actress for a role that I can think of off the top of my head.
No
Um,
leads. No
but
leads. There may have been like I could be wrong, but like I think they had like some secondary characters. Wait, didn't am I wrong? Did Captain Cold actor pass away?
he didn't. No, no. He. So the funny thing about him is, I think at that time they were about to start filming. Fuck, what was the name of that show that he was in? Because it was him and the guy that was playing
Oh,
Heatwave were in
Prison
that
Break.
jailbreak, prison break.
Prison
I almost
Break.
said jailbreak.
You did say it.
Yeah, I think they were filming a new season of Prison Break,
Oh,
and I think it was just like too much for him to keep up with that, and that because he was huge, like he was a side character in Flash, but
right.
then whenever they did Legends of Tomorrow, he was a main character.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so they needed him for more episodes, and I think whenever he originally signed the contract, the stuff to Prison Break was still kind of like under wraps, like they hadn't really decided if they were going to do it or not yet. So
Ah, okay.
yeah, he did not die
He is
though.
not. I'm actually just looking now. It's like, I swore I'd heard that, but I'm clearly thinking of somebody else. And good. I'm glad to hear. But
Yeah.
yeah. Although I'm sad, as much as I enjoyed him in Legends of Tomorrow, because the thing that kind of lost me on Flash was
Mhm.
Flash for me was the first time I ever heard the term Rogues Gallery because
Oh,
he
right.
has a legit group of villains that are all
Hmm.
dangerous. But every fucking season of Flash, and I could be wrong, it may have changed, but it didn't by the time I quit watching, was another speedster, which you
Right.
can only do so much variety of a fast battle. But like Captain
Uh-huh.
Cold, well, granted he was pretty prominent in the show, could have, with the right writing, could have been his own season big bad. Same with,
Absolutely.
I mean, and maybe not so much because uh, crap, Heat Wave. Uh,
Hmm.
you know, much as I enjoyed cosplaying him when you cosplayed Captain Cold, uh,
Hmm.
he ain't the brains of the outfit, so he ain't gonna carry his own thing. But them two together could have been a season.
Right.
Instead of a couple episodes and thrown to a spinoff where Heatwave immediately ditched his costume and I could no longer cosplay it. Not
Yeah,
salty.
and that was kind of that was probably like sort of my breaking point with Flash. Is it was like every single season you're like, oh, he's got this humongous rogues gallery, but every season they're like, oh, here's the new big villain. It's a speedster, and
Yeah,
like I kept like hoping that they were going to bring in the rogues because they kept like introducing them.
yeah,
Like we
yeah.
had yeah, we had Mirror Master. I don't. They introduced the top at one point,
Weather Wizard,
and then yeah, yeah, Weather
Trickster.
Wizard, and then they also yeah,
I mean, they
and it
brought
was just
in
like
majority of them.
yeah, and it was just such a pain that they never did that entire team up for the end of a season.
Oh yeah, yeah,
I guess you could yeah argue that Gorilla Grodd was pretty prominent in the first season, but I mean it was Zoom at the end of it.
yeah. It was still. I mean, there was
So
one or two episodes maybe showing the
yeah,
others. Like I said, we had Trickster. They brought Mark Hamill back in to play Trickster from
yeah,
reprising the role from the '90s Flash story. They brought in. I mean, Pied
yeah.
Piper had a great episode, and I mean, and
Hmm.
maybe not all of them need to be the big bad, but more than just one and done, which a lot of them were. A few came back, I think, but again, and these might have improved towards the in the later seasons after I quit watching, but I lost interest
Hmm.
after I think it was beginning getting into season 3 when they were clearly. I think that was Cicada because we had Reverse Flash, then Professor Zoom. I think was like the first two seasons villains,
Yeah,
and then I was like, no, I don't care anymore. I saw King Shark. I'm good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was just kind of disappointing in that third season. It was cool though. I will give them props for their cameos. Like Mark Hamill because he was the trickster in the original, like with John Wesley Shipp.
Yeah,
Um, Flash series, and then it was kind of cool because we found out that John Wesley Shipp was the Jay Garrick
yeah.
Flash, right?
Uh,
in another universe,
oh yeah,
and
yeah, maybe because he also played his
yeah,
father, just his straight up dad
yeah,
in the
yeah, he
Flash.
played, yeah, and that's why it was so controversial in the show, because when they found him, he was wearing they had him locked up and he was in a mask, and when they
Right.
took it off, they were like, "Oh, you look exactly like my father, but it's not my father. It's the Flash from a different,
Right.
universe."
Okay. I don't remember a whole
And
lot.
and then it was kind of cool because they had a scene where, like, it was showing his universe, and I guess it was supposed to be the Trickster, but they might have called him the Jokester instead,
Oh.
and it was fucking Mark Hamill. So it was like him, like, robbing a bank or whatever. uh, Golden Age Flash swoops in and
Oh.
and stops him and everything, and I'm like, man, we're so close to getting a live action Mark Hamill Joker. So
Which
great.
we did have before. He was
Yeah.
all in shadow, and but he was in the full makeup costume doing his animated voice in the mostly forgotten Birds of Prey TV series.
Oh gosh.
They had like I think it was a dream or a flashback with Batgirl,
uh,
and it was Mark
oh.
Hamill in full costume, but he was very shadowed out. I guess he just didn't really
Mhm.
look the part, and but it was him. He was doing the animated Joker voice, and yeah, that's the closest we got to Mark Hamill playing the Joker himself.
So perfect.
Yeah, can't hate it.
So great. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, CW, like I said, we Arrow. I lost interest about season 4, maybe with Olicity.
Mhm.
The whole what it
Oh,
became
right.
more about that. I couldn't even tell you who the villain was. Probably another Batman retread. But enjoyed that. But like, yeah, Legends of Tomorrow was interesting for a little while. Then I don't know. I got kind of tired of certain characters. Just didn't really
Hmm.
hold on. But it has its audience. I got a very good friend named Ed. He loves the CW stuff, and he's talked to me about some stuff. I do want to go and find each episode of the Crisis event and
Right.
just watch that as a standalone. I think that would be very entertaining because all the cameos they brought back for that event
Hmm.
sounded like a lot of fun, but not enough to make me want to kind of dive back in.
Yeah. And I don't know. I forgot about it. But they did just announce something that got me pretty excited. Is Green Lantern for HBO Max?
What?
Like, yeah,
I did
yeah,
not hear this.
yeah. It see, so it was something that I think was kind of in the works, and they announced last year. So hopefully, it's still going, but there is, like, current news on it. And they've kind of talked about, like, including a lot of the Earth Green Lanterns, like Guy Gardner, Jessica Cruz, Simon Baz, Alan Scott. Um, so hopefully we get a good variety of characters in it.
Oh yeah,
My biggest thing is, like, I really want it to take place just in space mostly,
right.
um, and just doing, like, little one-off episodes of, like, different sectors. Like, I don't know if anyone remembers, but when it was, I think, right before New, or no, it was before New 52. They had a really great Green Lantern Corps run, and the main character of it, you could, you know say, was Guy Gardner, but they really had this good thing about sort of flipping around to other lanterns for different sectors, and kind of, like, showing their stuff while still having this big plot going on in the background that ended up being, like, the Sinestro Corps War and everything.
Right.
But yeah, if they do something like that and just give us, like, some really great, like, I don't know, it could even be like sort of cops in space, like CSI in space or something like that, police procedural, but with Green Lanterns and
Yeah.
everything. I'm fully down for it.
Now, yeah, I'm not the biggest Green Lantern guy, but I know enough of some of the early and core members of it. I could tell you this. Actually, it's funny because I was just talking to somebody, one of my coworkers, about Green Lantern, and because we had heard rumor they wanted to Snyder Cut might feature John Stewart, which I don't know if that's
Right.
confirmed or not with all his reshoots. It's entirely possible. I think originally they said that he wanted to put Green Lantern in the movie and they cut it. So that
Hmm.
most likely going to be still a garbage fire, but we might get Green Lantern in there. Uh, And what I told them, like, because they're like, do you think they're going to do Hal Jordan again after the Ryan Reynolds movie bombed? I'm like, if they don't, and I would understand Jon Stewart. I would understand it because when Ryan Reynolds got announced, some people online were mad because they're like, no, Green Lantern's black. Why are you casting him? Because they only know the show. The show put Jon Stewart, the cartoon show, should I say, Justice League, put Jon Stewart on the map for me at least. I never heard of him, but.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
If we are doing a TV series where maybe we do a different Lantern, like maybe it's Hal Jordan, but he works with the different core members every episode or whatever, all I'm asking for is my boy Kyle Rayner. Shout out to the white Hispanic guys like myself, who is an artist. And I need a balls to the wall, like him creating a mech suit, him doing a lot of art, like if they're gonna drop, like, in every season of My Hero Academia, we get the one episode where we get eye fucked with amazing animation. I need that one of Kyle Rayner really showing off because let's be honest, Hal Jordan known for what, his big fists, catcher mitts, and little basic kind of shit. I think Guy Gardner really just more was about energy fields and like kind of like force beams. Kyle Rayner was like one of the ones I first saw where it was someone he was creating stuff, because he was an artist, and kind of like Jon Stewart, which they didn't really, I don't think they really showed much in the cartoon, but in the comics, he has an engineering background, so he would create constructs. Like they all have kind of a unique signature about themselves, and I think Kyle Rayner could be a very visually interesting Lantern if they use him. But that's just from the few trades I've read that had him in it.
Yeah, when I can't remember what issue it was in, but it had like, whenever we still just had 4 Earth Green Lanterns, it was kind of like introducing them in whatever it might have been, like an issue of Sinestro Corps War, Blackest Night, just in case somebody was new to it, and it was kind of going over all their strengths, and they did touch on Jon Stewart, and they were like, whereas most people will do constructs and it'll be one solid thing. His has depth, and like it's down to like a whole building with all of the interior structure and beams and stuff like that in it. And I always thought that was really cool. And then they got to Kyle Rayner, and it was like all of his imagination, as an artist, and like how detailed everything is whenever he makes it, and everything on it has like a purpose. So.
Yeah. Wow, I think actually now that you mentioned it, I think I read that too. Maybe I got that issue because it was breaking down each of them. And the other interesting little side note on that too was when he got to good old Kilowog, the poozer that he is. They said his is the only ring that makes a sound because he's got so much raw force behind it.
Yep.
Like it gives a foom or something. Like he's the only only ring that makes noise because he's got so much power behind his because green is willpower, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so he's got so much of that. It's like I thought that's kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like that breakdown. Cause I think I read that same issue, or I saw that somewhere. It was very cool.
Yeah, and I mean, just kind of side note, like if you don't want to wait for that, but you want really great, like something really good Green Lantern, it sucks because it only got 1 season, and I feel like it should have gone way further. But they did an animated series back in 2013, and it's like that CG animation that like Clone Wars and stuff had.
Right.
And I actually think I started watching Clone Wars because I liked the animation in this so much, and it was so connected.
Right.
The Green Lantern, the animated series, I think actually just released on Blu-ray not too long ago, and it's on Amazon to watch. You can buy the whole season, or you could just buy per episode. Which at that point, it's like, why don't you just like go on Amazon and just buy the whole like series or whatever?
Right.
But it was amazing, and they touched on so many great characters, and it was kind of cool because they did the off thing, right? So. Whenever you think of like villains for a Green Lantern, what do you think of?
Oh, I mean Sinestro, the Yellow Lanterns.
Yeah. So they kind of went off the beaten path, and off the bat for this one, they brought in. I don't want to spoil it, but it's not Yellow Lanterns and Sinestro for the villains in this, and I really liked how they did it.
Right.
Kind of introducing some of the stuff that they were doing in the comics around that time. But
I think I know what you're talking about.
Phenomenal. Yeah.
And that's
if
I was just going to say that the beauty of that show. I've only seen a few episodes, And as a very casual Green Lantern fan knowledge of it, yeah, it introduced me to a lot of stuff. And that one, I know what you're talking about, and that was a big bonus to it. I think was kind of showing
Mhm.
the expansiveness of the Lantern Corps and what they've dealt with, and which I think is a really good part about a TV series. Why Lantern works better as a show than it would have ever done, even if Ryan Reynolds movies were more successful. Is
Right.
there's so much history and so much variety in his villains that
Hmm.
a movie just won't ever do it justice. So yeah, I mean yeah, I forgot about that show until you brought it up. That is a damn good one. I would recommend people to go find out. I wish it was on HBO Max actually, because I would probably go watch it now. But honestly,
Yeah,
not gonna pay for it right now.
right, right. Yeah, no, completely understandable. And honestly, they might add it to that at some point. I can't remember. I think it was on Netflix whenever I watched it, maybe, or on demand. I can't
Oh, okay.
remember. But yeah, it was such a good show. And I from the looks of it and how HBO has been doing, I feel like they'll do Green Lantern just
Oh yeah,
really
I
well.
mean HBO's been killing it. Even not necessarily just in like their DC properties and stuff. Like that, some of the original programming is really starting to catch fire. I mean Lovecraft Country has been really good,
Mm,
and
yeah, yeah.
I feel like they're keep and Watchmen and just a lot of good stuff could be coming from
Raised by
there.
Wolves.
Oh yeah, Raised by Wolves.
Yeah.
I do have the problem.
It
I was
seems like after a series ends, we get something else that's just as good to watch
which
from
I'm
them.
perfectly fine with, even though right now my time is limited
Right.
with terrible work schedule and having to get in one movie every day for my Halloween marathons that I do every October,
Yeah.
watching a horror movie every day. Which, if y'all don't know, I do that. I think I mentioned already. But
Yeah.
yeah, plenty of series I've been watching and old ones going back too, also. But yeah, Raised by Wolves, Lovecraft Country, Watchmen. And of course, that's just HBO Max. I mean, all these streaming services are
Mhm.
doing a lot of original programming, and I mean, yeah. And TV, we're in that TV renaissance. Like we get it every few years. It seems like, like when Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad were starting, where like, man,
Mhm.
TV's way more interesting than the movies right now
Right.
because it's hard to beat long-term storytelling. You know what I mean? You can
Every
make
Yeah.
amazing one and done, but like even the best trilogy of movies won't hold up to a fantastic 20 episode or whatever, even 10 episode well-made TV series.
Yeah. Yeah. They've really hit in that, especially HBO now, because for a while I was like, after Game of Thrones ended, and it kind of ended on a however you felt about it, kind
Right.
of meh,
Definitely
maybe.
divisive.
It was just like, yeah, it was. We were really kind of in limbo, like, do we even want to keep HBO? Like, where's this gonna go? And then, like, I don't know. It's like, oh shit, HBO had all of this in. Hell yes.
Right. Oh yeah, and I mean, there's like I said, we've been really, because we started off talking about the DC shows, really going on about on HBO, which has a bunch of fantastic programming. But I mean, Netflix, Hulu. I mean, like Hulu has like a show we picked up during the Game of Thrones, like whenever in between seasons, Black Sails. It's still a
Hmm.
show I don't think enough people have watched.
Yeah,
No.
and Vikings.
Vikings, yeah, we're still waiting on the
Mhm.
finale here soon, which I don't know if they're waiting for it, but it's supposed to be a spin-off that's going straight to Netflix called Ragnarok.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool.
that's going to be, I
Yeah.
think, more into the later years of Vikings. Like I think they dropped the name Leif Erikson for maybe
Yeah.
a role in it. I don't know about starring role, but a major
Mhm.
role. And
Right.
but yeah, I mean, there's the shows on Amazon Prime's got their shows as
Don't you
well.
tell me about live action Vinland Saga, Sean.
God, I need to go back and finish Vinland Saga. That anime was amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, again too. That's like Prime's got some. Prime has some great original or anime exclusive to them as well.
Hmm.
But
But yeah, I man, I think we've touched on quite a bit for this episode.
for sure. But yeah,
Yeah.
again, I just want to kind of go back. I wish I wish DC would put some of the writers and directors from the shows onto their movies, because I'm
Yeah.
not trying to turn this into a bash into DCU right now, but
Right.
I mean, I can legitimately say I enjoyed Aquaman. I
Yeah.
enjoyed Shazam.
Wonder Wonder Woman?
It's
No,
okay.
no, no.
It's all
Kind of
right.
hit or
Wouldn't
miss. Yeah.
wouldn't watch it again. Excited for '84
Uh,
though. Whenever I
oh
get a
yeah.
chance to watch it, I'll watch it.
Right.
Uh,
Right.
Birds of Prey has probably been my favorite, and it's loaded with flaws.
Really?
But
Huh.
Birds of Prey was a lot of fun
I've been
because,
kind of debating.
well, here's the thing: don't go into it wanting to see the Birds of Prey. Go
Yeah.
into it seeing Margot Robbie get to play the Harley Quinn she should have in Suicide Squad.
Okay.
Because while it's called Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of the one Harley Quinn, it's a Harley Quinn movie. I don't know why
Okay.
they wanted to call it Birds of Prey. Because they're in there, sure. Not great. Adaptations of them, especially, not great. But again, kind of like how the animated Harley Quinn is, for me, is more about her, the side characters, than Harley herself. Birds
Hmm.
of Prey is more about Harley than the lead characters.
Right.
She's a better character than any Huntress, Black Canary, or not Batgirl. Forget her name, the Asian Batgirl, because that was not. It was her character by name only,
Yeah.
and just but again, a fun movie and a good Harley Quinn movie, but not a great Birds of Prey film. But like Shazam, it was good. I don't know much about the character, so I don't know how well they did him, but still enjoyed that one. Aquaman, it was fun. I mean, for what they had already
Yeah.
established about the character, that was a fun. That felt
Hmm.
like a comic book film.
Right. Yeah. And it took me forever to watch Shazam. But, it was good. It was really
Yeah.
good. I was
Well,
pleasantly surprised.
but again, that was the purest example of when I bitch about DC movies, that not everything needs to be grimdark. Is that
Yeah.
they acknowledged that about Shazam and kept it light,
Mhm.
and I think it was a fitting tone, and I think they need to kind of keep that up with some of their other properties. Like if this Flash film ever actually gets made, keeps getting started and stopped a lot.
Yeah.
I don't want, like, granted they tried to inject humor with Ezra Miller's take on him in the Justice
Mhm.
League, and it just felt awkward and out of place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he should be light,
Didn't
he
didn't
should
they
be funny, but it didn't
didn't they
work.
just do something with the show where he like cameoed in the Flash show and like that's where he got his costume design
Oh man,
or something like that?
he cameoed in the Crisis event,
Yeah.
and that maybe they worked into that. I didn't know anything beyond that because I still haven't watched it. But
Yeah.
yeah, that's yeah. They had Ezra Miller come in for, like, I think it literally like a 30-second cameo. But
Yeah.
they finally
It's pretty
tied the
cool.
TV shows
I
into the
know.
movies.
Jesus Christ.
But yeah. I think that's gonna do it for today. It's a little bit shorter episode, but we're on real life, as you good listeners understand and know, real life can sometimes interfere in things. So I think
Mhm.
we're gonna call it for today. As always, if you got something?
No,
No,
no, you're
okay.
good.
I thought I heard an inhale of I have something to add.
No.
But as always, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. And if you like this video, please give us a big thumbs up. Leave a comment. Tell us what you thought about any of the subjects we talked about. And something else I've been meaning to actually add in the last few episodes we haven't done. If you have anything you want us to discuss, if there's something you want to hear our thoughts on, whether it be a popular opinion or unpopular opinion, as you know, and I've done a few of those videos, feel free to drop a comment or hit us up on any of our social medias. As again, share the videos around, pass them around. We appreciate that so much. Spreading the good word of the Yokai Delinquents. But that's going to do it for now. We'll catch y'all next time.
Yeah, thanks for listening. Peace.